Right.
Hi,
Oh
good
man, this beer
morning.
just walked across the
Good,
street.
good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good
Good
morning,
morning.
everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. Thank you guys for your patience. I had to take yesterday off, just a little bit extra tired. I didn't want to come on here pushing that hard. I didn't even make the workout yesterday morning. So shout out to Larry for always holding it down. I didn't even talk about who came on, but you ain't call nobody out. You might have been by yourself, but we ain't got to call anybody out. So
Yeah.
how about that?
E- er, 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 er. I, I was by myself, and
Were you really?
I started live. I started the live. I saved it, uploaded it to YouTube. I recorded straight to YouTube.
Okay.
But it's private.
Okay.
But as I'm doing it, and I'm just talking to myself, I didn't smack talk. I gave everybody a break. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go right. I started right at 7 o'clock.
Right.
7:05 warm up was over, and I was in it.
Nice.
And
Nice.
and then like as I finished the first circuit,
Yeah.
Carolyn she shows up to the basement,
All right.
and
All right.
then the Earl pops on. I'm like, oh, okay.
Get you amped up.
But at that point, I was just talking to the camera, so I was, you got Sean T. Well, you had Larry.
Right.
I was, but there was nothing insane about my workout. It was nice and easy.
Nice.
So
Nice.
yeah.
Nice. All right. I'll be there. I'm gonna be there tomorrow. I'm gonna be there tomorrow.
But for everybody, I told this to AD. Rest is just equally as important than
Right.
putting the work in,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
don't and your workout, your fitness journey, again, it's a journey.
Right.
You don't finish a 10K in 5 minutes, right?
Right.
It takes
Right.
time.
Right. Yeah.
So it's okay to
Definitely.
take those breaks,
Definitely.
take those breaks, and then get right back in it. Don't judge
Right.
yourself. Don't come down on yourself, and then keep it going.
True indeed.
So
True
cool.
indeed. So make sure you guys join. Be a part of that party. Text LCF to 845-676. Text LCF to 845-76. And be a part of that. So today, if you're not on the text community, we are talking about teenagers. That's the topic. Because and I wanted to talk about that. Of course, Father's Day is coming. Father's Day is coming up this Sunday. So shout out to the dads, fathers, um, just being a father. And it's so funny. And I guess maybe before I became a father, the term to the fathers that are just holding it down. Like there are levels. Just like any parent, there are levels. Listen, you could be in a space where you're not with your children all the time, for whatever reason, but you are doing the work to be in their lives, however, as much as you can, because each individual's has their different struggles or whatever they're going through, and sometimes some people's struggles are so hard. It's like I don't want my children around this level of my struggle, and I get it, but be in their lives. At least let them know who you are. Let them know who you are. Of course, they're gonna get older. Like, Dad, you weren't around then. You weren't around this time. Um, I think about some folks, like even Shaq or um, some stars. People say, the shape my dad was in, it was best that he wasn't in my life at the level that I really wanted him, because the person that stood in place gave me great examples, helped me get to where I am. Um, so just wherever you're at as a father, just keep pushing, keep pushing, just keep pushing. I just want to encourage you, keep pushing,
Wow,
but be in
wow.
their
You
lives.
you just you just you just hit something I was thinking about this morning.
Okay.
Like, yeah, my grandpa, he had filled the gap
Right.
early on
Right.
for me before my mom met my dad. I guess the title is stepdad, but he's my dad.
Right.
But yeah, I was just thinking about my granddad, like how he was just that strong, figure
Right.
and made sure that I had a pretty decent upbringing.
Right.
So, but yeah,
It matters. It matters. Yes.
yeah,
And just be encouraged. Be encouraged. And just keep pushing. That's all. That's all. And if you are the one, are the man in somebody else's, I guess, lack of a better word, you're not the biological, and you're in somebody's space. However you got there, shout out to you for just holding it down. You know,
oh yeah,
and for those that had to step into that space, at a teenager's life, big shout out to you, because I know they trying to give you the business and you just trying to mentor and hold it down. But you got to understand it's a struggle because their biological is not there. We got this other dude, and it's hard. It's hard. So just give some grace, breathe. uh you'll make it through. That's what they say. So we're talking about teenagers, right? And I started talking about this topic because I was talking to a couple last night, and they've been together 50 plus years. Children are older, and so I begin to ask them, I got teenagers, and they did the same reaction that I've gotten since I've had children. You'll get through it. Just don't give up on them. You'll get through it. And before I got here, right in this teenage space, when they were probably like, I was telling Larry early before we started, 10 and 11. I'm like, yeah, they're 10 and 11. They're like, oh, they're almost teenagers. And everyone looks at you and says the same things. Enjoy this time. What? What does that mean? What does that mean? Oh, real quick, shout out to Mama Corey. Great morning to you. Lisa, good morning. Good morning. What's up, Jeff? Good morning. Good morning. And I think Jeff even said it. Go ahead.
See, the optimal word shouldn't be enjoy, because we take enjoyment for granted. Right? We take enjoyment for granted. The word should be cherish.
Cherish.
Right. Then,
cherish.
you cherish something, it's like be on that last roll of that paper towel or the toilet paper roll, you know what I mean?
Right.
And when you cherish something, you're like, you making sure to maximize that time with it. So
right.
I think from now on, the movement, guys, is cherish. That
today's
time.
word is cherish. Right.
We're not going to enjoy. We take enjoyment for granted, because look, they told me, no one told me to enjoy, but I've been telling people to enjoy, and they wouldn't listen.
Right. Cherish the time. Because and I'm sure I'm not the only dad, or even my wife and our parents that you have your baby, when they're infant stage, and we had preemies, so they were like really small, and they constantly, when at that stage, you got to do everything. You got to pick them up, you got to hold them, you got to take them wherever, you got to change them, you got to do everything. It's like you are them because they can't do nothing for themselves. And what's up, Brian? Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
We're awesome, amazing, grateful.
We're trying to cherish.
We cherish. Today's word is cherishing the time. We're talking about teenagers. All right, so so when and you in the infant stage, you're taking them around, you're doing everything for them, and we think in our minds, man, I can't wait till this baby boy / girl can start moving, at least start crawling. And we put them down, we put them on the stomach, we're like, come on, baby, come on, there we go. You start crawling, and then we get excited, like, okay, now it's time to start walking. So we do what we normally do, put them up, put them on whatever table stand, or if you got, the little walker thing, come on, baby, come on. It's all these exciting times. You want growth. We want them, man, I got to get you to feed yourself. And then somewhere between them being able to make their own food or put their food together, let's just make something simple like cereal. Like, you no longer have to go in the refrigerator. They can hold the milk and get their own cereal. you know. Oh, and it's only just now. It's just asking permission. Hey, is it okay if I get some juice? Hey, I'm gonna go ahead and make me a sandwich. Go ahead and make you a sandwich, baby. You know, it's at that moment that things begin to change. You know, and that's the moment that most people like cherish this time. Cherish it. Because right now they're still in between that like kid, teenager, you know, that stage where they can do for themselves, but they still got that really goofy kidness in them. You know, it's just, and you just cherish that time. So anybody listening that has children, I'm gonna say under at least 12, 11-ish, cherish that time. Go ahead, Larry. Go ahead. Cherish. We talked about the paper towel. Cherish.
Yes, but I do have to say, and we could be jumping a little bit.
Okay.
You know, I'm jumping just a little bit. That
yes.
I've seen the other side. I'm
on
the other side.
Yeah. And Brian is as well. Definitely.
And they turn out, because regardless, you still been putting that work in on them. They turned out to be pretty decent adults.
I got you.
They turned out to be pretty decent adults. Like you had this, oh no, they're lost hope. Oh no, oh my gosh, no. They did all these things to me, you know, and then they're the one making that 911 call for you. They're the ones that's handling the work with the medics and all that stuff and making sure everything is together. So
wow. That's awesome. That's awesome.
So the other side is okay. Now it's getting to that other side.
It's the journey. It's the journey. Right.
It's like, okay, Moses, where you are, I need you to part this sea right now. Lift your hands up, cry out, so that we can get across. You're not doing it fast enough. it's being convinced that this is going to happen, that you can get through. Like my daughter, it was my kids. Like there were two signs, right? That they hit their teenage years.
Okay.
And this is what my kids. But I think they got this from the other side, not my side, but from the other side.
Okay.
You know, my genetics don't do that. That's all I want to say. I'm not gonna like blast anybody directly, but love you, babe. But as soon as they make that transition to a teenager, they stop talking. They go from the biggest smiley kid, and then all of a sudden they stop talking. They stop talking. They don't say nothing. They want to get involved, and it's like, what the heck? Like, what's going on here? Like, why? Oh, but you can talk with your friends till the next morning. The other night, now you're quiet again. Like, are you just tired? Maybe they were just tired. But that was their transition. So one was talking, but the other thing, they would have a growth spurt. Like the whole time, I'm like, wow, they're in the front of they're in the front of the line.
That's amazing. You know,
I'm like, wow, they're so small. I was like, I'm like the little kids. They're always in the front of the line. I know last name is Banks and it's entitlement, but we had to be in the middle, you know, when it comes to the height order. And they would have the growth spurt right when they turn to a teenager. I'm like, oh, okay, you're gonna be all right. But so then you had teenagers, right?
Right.
And then you had teenage girls.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh. I don't know. Brian, you have a daughter, right?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
See?
He's passed.
Now I'm gonna start preaching to the preacher here. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna lob it up for him. Like
right. Go ahead, slam dunk.
I'm gonna let him take it away. But this day I will never forget. We was getting ready for church, and I'm over here like the ringleader to get everybody in the house together. Like, yo, you get ready. Come on. Let's do this, right? I already walked Princess. Let's go.
Right. Then, you did all the prep, right?
My daughter was working on her hair. for hours. It was hours. And I'm not exaggerating. It was hours. And I watched her put this working on her hair. And when it came out, I was like, oh, okay, that's a decent style. I'm cool with it. Right? And she came out, was like, my hair's not working right. It's not what I wanted. I was like, what was you going for? It looks good to me. And then she went just like this. No, it's not. Closed her eyes like this, and the Denzel glory tears shot out of her eyes from all over. And I was like, what did I say? What did I say? Like, what just happened? What just happened?
Wow.
And my wife was like, you can't talk to her right now.
Wow.
And I was like, what do you mean? I can't talk to her. And she went like this. Wow. You can't talk to her right now.
Wow.
And I didn't talk to my daughter again until she was 18. I was traumatized. I didn't give it a cold treatment and all, but it was just.
I got you.
I'll just say it was more hormonal.
I got you. Okay.
And as a guy, I don't know how to deal with that.
Right. Right. I get it.
Brian, times 4?
Right.
Times 4.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. And he got,
and I have
you just kind of going through. The others already been through. Well, no, he's almost all the way on the other side. Almost.
Right.
Almost. But go ahead. Let's get
3
your
granddaughters.
Experience. Oh, right.
Starting the teenagers all over again because my oldest granddaughter turned 13.
Wow.
So the clock started over.
Wow.
But it's different. It's different as a pop.
Is it different as a pop?
It is. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Wait a minute. It's supposed to be different as pop.
I thought they always go to you. You still their favorite.
Yeah. So you're talking about the disconnect that happens versus what I'm talking about when I say it starts over with grandchildren. Yeah, the disconnect absolutely happens with every daughter. But I think I'll tell you something. I didn't know it was a cheat sheet, but I had a benefit as a single parent.
Okay.
Many years ago, I learned how to do hair. I learned how to braid.
Right.
So I have 4 daughters and I have done all their hair. I spent time in all their heads.
Right.
Braiding, curling, and all of that. And I know why women love the beauty shop.
Is that the connection?
The connection. Getting in somebody's hair and having conversation while you oiling scalps, that kind of stuff. And to have their dad's hands in their hair was something special for them. Even when I couldn't braid, no one could say anything about the horrible braiding job I did.
Hey.
My daddy did my hair, They're so proud of the fact that their daddy did their hair. And then I got good at it,
That's good. Okay.
And then one day my wife asked me to help her with her hair. Yeah.
Nice. Gotcha.
It's different because, grown women will ask you to help them, but you can't tell them nothing about their hair.
Right.
Yeah.
I got
Wow.
Gotcha.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think that helped me. Don't get me wrong.
He said,
I still got the tears for saying something too aggressively.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I still went through I tell people this all the time. I know what the gap, the 400 silent years between the Old Testament and the New Testament. I know what that's like. Just have daughters, and you'll find out what that 400 silent years was like when God wasn't talking. Yeah. So I've experienced that with my 2 oldest daughters, not really with my 2 younger ones yet.
Okay. Like, we're gonna put an asterisk on that.
Don't get me wrong. Love my daughter to death, and one of the things that me and her had, I think last year was the first year that we didn't do it. Was Valentine's Day was our day. Okay. Even during her, teenage years, she was like, "Dad, we going out to dinner?" Even through college, she was like, "Dad, are we still going out to dinner?" 'Cause I thought by college time, some boy was going to be taking her out to dinner, right? But she was like, "Dad, we still going out to dinner? We still dressing up on our date?" And I was like, so every time she would come to me for that, I was like, yeah.
So you tipped that like, I got you.
Yeah, you got to tell like, yeah,
I got you.
Yeah. So I mean, that's my shorty. but like you said, like we were saying, cherish those younger years. So those younger years, I would take her to the mall. My wife's the tax accountant. She was working those late hours or whatever.
Right.
So I was like, I got this little baby girl. Like, let's go to the mall and just walk the mall and window shop. We weren't buying anything. We just walked the mall. Right. Keep her up, wear her out, so she sleep through the night when my wife come home. Right. So then, as a teenager, see, this is another thing I learned not to do. So if you catch on how we was at the mall, right, walking around. So now, as a teenager, as she goes to the mall, she spent 2.5 hours in one store, not one mall. In one store. Like I said, this teenage girl, and I think I'm gonna take fault. I'm gonna find a little fault in myself for taking her to the mall and conditioning her, being able to spend time in the mall.
you was shopping too.
But we weren't shopping. We were just walking around looking and keeping it going. She actually was shopping in this store 2.5 hours, and she came out with a bag. Not that big. I told her, I was like, I ain't going shopping with you no more. I wanted to go to the Apple store. They had some new thing coming out today.
Right. Wow. Good times.
Yeah.
Good times. Jeff says come on. There we go. Nope. This is right. He said our granddaughter is on a silent program now too. She will spend the night, and 80% of the time she's in the bedroom on her phone.
See?
Interesting. I think it's just, you come to a point you gotta kind of I won't say force, but kind of be persuasive in engagement, because I remember being a teenager. You kind of get comfortable doing a certain thing, and parents, you kind of, I disconnected, but we didn't do a lot of family stuff together though. So in my mind, if I do more family stuff together, if I set things up, they'll want to, do it. My daughter's still, into it. My son is the one that's like, you got to drag out the room. Like, come on out the room, son. come on, hanging with the family,
Well,
but your son he's a bit of an introvert.
He is.
Yeah. So
naturally, he has a lot of what I had.
Did you say? Are you using past tense?
Have. I guess I'm an introvert still.
It have.
Yeah, because
even though you're out here bubbly and everything, you have to take time to recover from all your public duties and all that stuff. If you don't 100%. Recover, you become Beetlejuice. So stop.
You're right, because I do. You're right. This is the light switch. When I cut that light, I'm just
yeah.
But 100%. But what we did do, one thing that we did do that I used from growing up was I would make sure they came to the dinner table. So you just reminded me, making sure they come to the dinner table.
Right. Eat together. Yeah.
Yeah. Eat together. And that was a nightly thing.
Right.
But see, you comparing yourself to I was a different teenager.
Okay. You was extroverted.
I wasn't. I was.
Oh, okay.
Believe it or not, I'm introverted. I'm one of those. I'm an omnivert. That's what.
Okay.
That's what I am. Right. The extrovert inside that comes out protects the introverted Larry. So.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah, that's a whole nother. That's a whole nother.
We'll dig into that later.
Yeah.
I mean, for myself, like I was, more. I leaned on the way my son is now. During like high school and stuff like that. I had some friends, and I think I started pushing to be more vocal or more outward connecting, forcing myself when I got to college. And what I did, I was like, I had to find something that would force me to connect, because just cold connecting, like, hey Brian, hey Larry, how you guys doing? Like I couldn't. I felt like I was too corny for that. So I got into the student union board and started doing I was the advertiser, the flyers. So it just gave me a reason to, hey, come to this thing. Hey, come to this, it force myself out of the box, because I knew like I never was gonna grow or anything could happen unless I could connect with people. So that was where kind of like I said, Brian, like this is where my outward, where I could turn it on. I was like, I need to have something I could turn on, so that helped me a lot. But I don't know, in my mind, and maybe I could talk to it, like the genes that pass down to your children, like, what did they say? Nature over nurture, things that, is it your environment that makes you that way, or is it just who you are? And I thought maybe I was who I was because of my environment, and so I thought maybe making a different environment would produce a different child, but obviously it's just a gene thing. I don't know. So that's what this random thought about that. Just so for you guys, because I know, and we all see it. We see ourselves in our children. Am I correct? We see ourselves, like their reaction to things, and even when it's like, even when it's the stuff you don't like, you just gotta chuck it up. Like, that's me. That's exactly how I would have reacted without Ryan, without Jesus.
So you are right there. So now looking at it, like if you ever meet my daughter, you'll be like, oh, she's just like you, Larry. She was like, I'm like you. She's like the extroverted side. And now I was just sitting here thinking about what you were saying, and even what I had said about how that extroverted guy protects the other one. So the whole time, my mom would be like, speak up for yourself. Because don't let people push you over. And I wasn't listening, but I was listening, but not listening, not applying. Right. So there was times where there was a lot of hurt because I was always like pushed over, or I didn't speak up and all that stuff. So then that's where that other guy came from, right? So as I was raising my kids and my daughter especially, I always taught them to try to speak up and say what's on their mind and be present, because you don't want to miss out an opportunity. Don't have regrets. The whole nine. And you look at my daughter; she is a spitting image of the extroverted Larry. Gotcha. You look at my son; he is a spitting image of the introverted Larry. So so nurtured my daughter to be where she's at, but nature it was my son. So wow.
Right. That's hilarious. Oh,
I'm gonna go off camera for a minute.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna still be here.
All right. So for you, Brian, do you feel, is it that way with you? Like the things that you see in your children, half in one, half in the other?
Oh, absolutely. I can absolutely tell when I see me, and I can absolutely tell when I see my wife.
I got you.
And both make me happy and both make me frustrated.
Right.
You know,
right.
Like, oh, that's your mama. Yeah,
Right.
Talk to my wife. You
Right. That's you. You need to go deal
that's
with
yours.
that.
That's yours. And she'll turn around. That's yours.
Right.
It's funny.
Oh, man.
My wife is an academic, and I'm not.
Same
I had one of my daughters say about one of her sisters. She said, "Yeah, you just like mommy. You like you get all your schoolwork done. You get all your stuff done. You go in your office. You go in your room, and you'll work. Yeah, that's not how Daddy was. What?
Right.
Like,
right.
who you think paid a mortgage?
Right.
Like, how do you do that without a work ethic?
Right.
You know, and the difference is I told jokes, I get silly outside of all of that. Right. And my wife can't tell a joke to save her life. Right? So that's a lot of what it is. You know, I said it's amazing how, the difference between boys and girls to me is boys are pretty oblivious to a lot of stuff. You know, girls are in touch with everything.
Yeah.
Everything's connected. That's why you have to be careful how you speak with them. Right. You know, boys are like, whatever. Girls are like, no, you didn't.
Right.
You can't not right. I mean, they're just connected.
Right.
And boys, you got to go find them.
Right.
You know, and reel them in.
True.
That's just the truth. And that's how they grow. I mean, I don't have a problem that there's certain boys that are like that, but I haven't met them yet.
Bless you. Oh, Jeff said,
right. Sweet and devil mean at the same time.
Right.
Yeah. That's it right there.
Right. I made a conscious effort to teach her to be self-sufficient and to not take nothing. Now she's 34, and boy, don't piss her off. Backfire on you. Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But that's the catch-22, if you would.
Right.
With this generation is you want to make sure that your boys become men, that they evolve into shepherds, that they evolve into the cover for the home.
Right.
You want your girls to be independently minded, but don't lose sight of the interdependency of a strong relationship, of a marriage, right? Yeah. And I think what happens is it's amazing how we can train our boys to grow up, be a man, take it. You got to work through that kind of stuff. And we teach our girls the same thing, but we've neglected to teach them about being wives.
Right.
Yeah. Right. That's the thing. Yeah. And we have to get to those fundamental truths. And we live in a day and age today where, and I don't want to turn this into a different conversation, where we have a lot of boys struggling to understand what manhood really is.
Right.
And we have a lot of girls understanding what being a woman is, but not understanding what being a wife is.
Yeah, that is true. I think.
Oh boy,
that's that's a lot. You know, I think that is the biggest challenge, and it's like, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Like, you want, like, my daughter to survive and be able to build her life, but how to kind of become the wife.
See yourself as a wife without thinking that it's a slave.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you know, they'll get offended. You know, they get offended by that statement that Brian just made, but it's not to offend anyone. It's just a balance.
But again, that's the damage of social media and following trends.
Yeah.
You know, there are a lot of people out there that are socially famous, but not fundamentally stable.
Right. 100%.
And so they're sending the wrong message to the generation. And because our children have so much access to information so much earlier in life, you know, they are literally being groomed to be unpleasant human beings as adults.
Right.
Because people are so self-involved.
Yeah,
you know?
I think that self-involved is big.
Yeah.
That's real big. That's real big.
So
yeah, I think that shifting of connectivity and community is rough. You said, do you think wives are better more hold on. Do you think wives are better more equipped with teaching a little girl the ways about being a good wife?
that's interesting. Because if you ask a woman what she's looking for in a man, she'll preach to you.
Okay.
You ask that same woman what the man should get in return, it's a single sentence answer. Take me as I am. Samantha Walker.
Right. That's good. Said not wives that don't enjoy it. True indeed. Lord. I think that's a rough. That's where it gets sticky because having that, it's all about experience and being able to relay that, because if they are miserable wives, they can't give anything useful. True indeed.
Well, the question really is, how many of our women are listening to what men want as opposed to what they think men want? And how much of that information is getting poured into the next generation, right? Everybody has their idea. Teenagers, you know how it was, man. I thought I knew everything when I was 18. You couldn't tell me anything.
Nothing.
Well, right. I did know everything. Remember, I did know everything.
Just so you know, I didn't know.
Some of us are still stuck in that rut.
Just so you know,
we just believe we know it all, and we believe that our elders got it wrong, and we're going to do it right.
And this is a good one as well. It said how many men are actually communicating what they want.
Well, listen, that's a catch-22 statement or question right there as well, because sometimes when a man expresses himself, it gets used as ammunition against him. I hear men talk about it all the time. You want men to open up and express themselves, and then you have a problem with what they've expressed. Some men will sit, and I talk to men all the time, and they'll tell you, yeah, man, this whole sharing your feelings and stuff, it doesn't work out very well. In a lot of cases, it gets used as ammunition against you. But you want a man to be strong, but you also want him to be open and honest about his feelings. But when he's open and honest about his feelings, sometimes it's perceived as weak. That's a fact. But that happens far too often.
Let me ask this though. So when I'm expressing myself, right? Is it sometimes like my woman may not totally understand where I'm coming from? You understand what I'm saying? Like sometimes it's having that empathetic ear, like Sam says, like it goes both ways. Like something that's
just something women say.
I think that goes both ways. Having an empathetic ear to what's sensitive to me, and trying to dig into it or understand it, or maybe not realizing how sensitive information may have been, if that makes sense, to hear it come back up or in a discussion like between us, like, well, you said blah, say blah, and it may be shared as a ammunition, but but didn't you just say that this thing bothered you? Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not talking about arguments. I'm not talking about, well, that's why you got molested when you was 5. No, I'm not saying, like that's like, wow. Okay. That's taking what already is hurtful and making it bigger. But I'm talking about if it comes back up as far as conversation or in a disagreement, I think maybe that may be confused as it being thrown as ammunition, but I'm just trying to get clarity. Does that make sense?
It does, but I still think it depends on the individual. I'm saying that in our current state,
right,
everyone talks about mental health.
Right. How important it is. Sharing.
That's been coming on strong.
Right.
Self-care.
Right. It's big.
Share your feelings, express yourself. It's better out than in.
Right.
People talk about that.
Right.
But we come from a place, we've been groomed to believe, as men, you're supposed to just shake it off. Keep it moving.
Definitely.
Definitely. We don't have time to be sensitive and all of that, because I need you to be on that wall. In my Jack Nicholson voice, you want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Classic.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the moments that you come off the wall, sometimes it's perceived as you've lost your qualification to be on the wall. That's what society does. And that's what I mean when I say the misconception of being a grown man and yet being able to share your feelings. That's why the boys struggle today. We live in a world where women are strong and competing in the spaces that men compete in.
Okay.
Right. So if that's what the world is evolving into, what man has time to be emotional? We're still trying to overcome the emotions of our women.
I think like in that space, I mean, I believe it could come from both sides. So, I've heard men who got a lot of weak-minded men, that push the anti-emotionalism preference, like all these men, mental health hogwash, trying to.
All you gotta do is look at the boys, though, man.
Right.
Look at the boys. If you want to know what the state of mind of men has become,
right,
with sharing their feelings, look at the boys. When I look at this generation of boys, show me a teenage boy that can handle the word no. It's hard to find a boy 15, 16 that can handle the word no. It used to be the girls. Spoil them rotten. Right. Don't tell them no. Give them what they ask for,
Right. Yeah.
Boys can't handle the word no. I'm saying just do the research. Check for yourself.
I think that's, that comes from like we've talked about way back and probably said before, like trying to make up for what you didn't get, trying to give
or the level of female influence in their lives.
What you mean?
When you spoil a girl, what kind of woman does she become?
Oh.
So when that same mindset has a son, see, I've lived long enough to have a problem with women dressing their sons in the same clothes they wear.
Oh.
Me and my boy twins. No, you're not. He's not supposed to dress like you. He's not supposed to, his mannerisms aren't supposed to match yours. Well, but in the absence of a father, in the absence of a man, the absence of that male influence, he picks up the mannerisms of his mother, of his auntie.
Of course.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jeff says, getting back to our kids and teaching them, I think the best teacher for our kids is the example we displayed through the years with our spouses. Our actions speak loudest. It's easier for me sometimes not to talk about something I like to bury and pretend it doesn't exist. That's and that's not a good thing.
Because you don't want what comes with
sharing,
the confrontation, the sharing, because as men, that's not how we came up. Our generation didn't come up sharing our heart.
Yeah, nah, not at all.
You did good to say I love you. Right. And you couldn't tell it to your friend, to your boys. Right.
Which got you all jacked up and weak. Let's just go shoot some pool. Not talk about it, but let's just go do something. Let me go have a beer.
My mom, man, I could probably count the times I saw my mom in a dress growing up.
Right. I remember you
and I wouldn't reach 10.
Right. Wow.
Because she was a single parent raising sons. She could not be in the house all dainty with makeup and doing her hair and all that kind of stuff because we couldn't participate. So my mom wore jeans and tennis shoes, t-shirts. She'd cut the neck out of her t-shirt and just let it hang, you know. I'm serious. She was, you know, she was a 30, 40-year-old tomboy.
Wow.
You know, my mom was my softball coach.
Right.
Right. Because she wanted us to have that masculine energy because that energy was missing from our home. Now she was 100% woman.
Right.
Cook, clean. She could get pretty when she wanted to. I'm not that she wasn't pretty. I mean, get dolled up, you know.
Get dolled up. There you go.
Yeah. But that's what it was. She was concerned about, you know, I had one of my brothers play with dolls growing up.
Right.
You know, and he got teased big time. He had the Barbie penthouse.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, man. I ain't gonna tell you which one. He had the Barbie penthouse growing up because he just loved dolls.
Right.
Loved them. Right. You know, my doll was an action figure.
Right. Right. It's an action. It's ain't a doll.
They made the same way, came out of the same factory, but you couldn't call G.I. Joe a doll.
G.I. Joe still like this. Dolls
yeah.
like this.
Yeah. Yeah, little growing skipper, and you know. Right. But what I'm saying is it was important for her that we pick up masculine energy, and what she learned as I grew up is you can't give me masculine energy.
Right.
It takes away from who you are as a lady.
Right.
That has to come from a man.
Mine had grenades, right?
Yeah. So those are the things, but we don't want to look at the history of it, right? We have to recognize, you know, where we are is an evolution of where we've come from. And there was a great disruption when men were taken out of the homes. And so that energy got disheveled, you know. And so now, even with people that have 2-parent households growing up today, you know, a lot of your friends' mothers or fathers were raised in single parent households in our community.
Right.
You know, for whatever reason. I don't want to get into that. And so it distorts your way of thinking. And so we have to take notice of that when we're raising our children in this season.
Yeah.
You know where we've come from. Be careful what you're pouring into your children. Don't pour your traumas into your children. Don't pour your upbringing into your children. Pour the foundation of truth into your children. That's what has to happen. And we have to be able to separate. Don't forget all you guys.
You got to play with them.
I ain't play with those guys. Stop it.
Mama Corey, we want the pictures, man. Mama Corey, we want the pictures. I know you got a picture.
Yeah, show a picture of me with a Barbie. I was curious. I wanted to know what was under the swimsuit. You're right. I did pick up Barbie. I did.
Moving along. All right. So,
yeah.
Oh,
I was always curious about Barbie changing clothes. Yep. You're right, Mom.
Let me ask this.
I remember now.
Larry, if you're still there, Larry.
I'm still here.
All right. Yeah, we're going someplace dark.
Yeah.
What do you feel like? The
I mean, I do have to say that, you know, when my son was messing with my daughter's dolls, right? And I didn't see it. My wife saw it, and she was like, "You know what he was doing? He took the shirt off and was playing with the tail." I was like, inside, I'm like, it's outside, like, man, boy, why are you doing that? Inside, I'm like, yeah, my boy.
Horrible.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's the only one that Jeff. We're trying to change topic. We're trying to change. All right. So do you guys feel like COVID has had any effect on your children, or like, do you think like the the being at home, not schooling, but remote learning. Let me say it correctly. Remote learning, because it's different.
I
You said
would
your
say
children hated it.
I hated it for them.
Yeah,
Seriously,
I would say
it was traumatic.
Yeah.
My daughter Brienne did not get to have a traditional senior year.
Okay.
And that's traumatic.
Right.
Not being able to walk the halls as a senior because of COVID and go through all of that, being the elder to the underclassmen and all of that stuff.
Right.
And she saw it.
Right.
She saw it happen before her, but she couldn't have that experience.
Wow.
It was deeply traumatic.
Wow.
Deeply traumatic.
Yeah.
So it had an impact.
I watched it take my son to a very dark place, and he
Wow.
went into a depression, and it was his senior year as well.
Wow.
And it took him 2 years to bounce back from that, because they went from senior high school, graduation, where they can only walk the stage. They're going to be in an auditorium, just a family, and then like 2 other kids.
Right.
They graduate, shake the principal's hand, and walk out. That was it. No, I didn't mind it because it was the fastest ceremony ever. But it went from that to his freshman year of college, and it was still remote and masked up. You can't do this. You can't. Don't trust this person. This person might got it. This, that, all that. Right. So it really it played a number on him, and like Brian had mentioned earlier, and this is really when I started to understand that space of mental health,
right?
Where we were raised with, like you said, so it meant rub some dirt on it and just keep it going. I always say that was our mentality.
Right.
We didn't have time to dwell or feel bad or anything. It was like, all right. You cut yourself, put a Band-Aid on, let's go. It's all right. You be all right. And watching him going into that dark place during COVID, I was myself like telling him, yo, shake it off, let's go. Not knowing that, he was going through something mentally. Yeah, that was really like, it's
and the thing is, you don't understand. People don't really understand the impact, or we won't really understand the impact of COVID for almost 20 years. Right. Because that's what a high school senior felt.
Yeah.
You don't know what the junior felt. You don't know what the freshman felt who was going into high school their first year and COVID hit.
Right.
High school changed after COVID.
Yeah.
You think about the middle school experience. I think middle school is the roughest season of a young person's life.
Yeah.
That's the greatest transition, because that's when the hormones kick in and people start smelling themselves and all of that. And, the fondling begins, and, communication goes to another level and all of that stuff, And so how COVID disrupted that is still being learned, if you would, processed. We don't know. We really don't know. We have to pray about those things, and that's why mental health is so critical. We have to. All right, bro.
Appreciate you, man. Good day.
We have to pray. We have to study. We have to understand, and take a deeper look at it. You can't just gloss over it,
right?
Because we don't know the impact, and we won't know the impact for years.
Yeah,
and there's an impact to every age group.
Right. Yeah. Because I've been, just wondering at my children, and like my son basically missed all of middle school, because of COVID, like he started, and then the next year it was like COVID, and then he just got dumped into high school. It's like, okay.
Listen, our dog Cooper is a family pet.
Right.
He's a COVID dog. We purchased Cooper when we were still on lockdown.
Yeah. I remember.
And he is antisocial.
Right.
Because of that. He's 3 years old, and he still freaks out.
Right.
When he gets around other pets, because he just never got over it, because when he was raised, his early season was in the house just dealing with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if that's what happens to a dog,
right.
What do you think it did to people?
Right.
When you think about the civil unrest, global civil unrest, especially in America.
Right. Yeah.
When people weren't able to get out and socialize, what happens? Right. People got caught up in what was being said online. I mean, it became the devil's playground. Right. And we are where we are now because people were sitting in front of their computers.
Yeah.
For like 2 years.
Yeah. You're right.
Yes. Right. Taking it all in.
Yeah. Stuck on that, some propaganda, just constantly hearing and going down the YouTube rabbit holes. And it's crazy. The conspiracy got ramped up.
Man.
Like a ton.
And so if that's what it did to grown folks, what do you think it did to our young people?
You're right. Yeah, the critical thinking and the information you hear. He said Kim just called me earbuds. she said, "Oh, good morning, earbuds."
Yeah, because now when you're outside and interacting with people, what you hear more than anything is, "Huh?"
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
Right.
What it is?
Oh man, you be like, "Good morning." No, good.
Oh, they got AirPods. They got AirPods. AirPods.
I'm on a call.
People do pranks. They do jokes. They end up walking in the stores and stuff, talking, and people are like, "What you say?"
Oh yeah, I've seen
it. That's why you laughed and you've seen it.
I've seen it.
Oh, she telling you to put earbuds in. See, I don't want to be part of your world.
Gotcha.
I don't want to be a part of your world. Put your earbuds in.
Right. Good morning, Kim.
What you're doing is of no interest to me. Please, I don't want to hear that.
Right. Okay. Tell me when the jokes start.
That's just courtesy, Jeff. She's letting you know that you're being disrespectful.
Disrespectful. No.
Why do I have to entertain your stuff in this moment right now?
Right. Oh man. All right, guys. So listen, we appreciate you guys for rocking with us every day, Tuesday through Friday. We look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, Freestyle Friday. He said exactly. It's a polite way of saying you're being rude. Oh my gosh. Plus, it's early in the morning here, brother.
Oh my Lord. You got it. Oh man, I forgot.
Sorry, Kim. Sorry, Kim.
You can't hear us now because he's got his earbuds.
My bad, Kim. So listen, we appreciate you guys for being here. Freestyle Friday tomorrow. We're gonna be playing some games. Hopefully we get everybody in. We're gonna have Cole in the building. Plus, we're gonna talk about everything. Oh, and if Kaneem is in the house, I know he is brimming over about the Trump situation. That still doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. This is just an ongoing saga, and Trump is just waiting for his mugshot to happen so he could use it. Telling you, y'all, he gonna put it on t-shirts.
He has raised over $7 million since the indictment.
So let's hold up. We're gonna pause. We're gonna come back to this, but I just want to point out the fact that when he got elected, people were pissed at CNN, MSNBC, because he got all this free coverage during his campaign. So next time he run, he didn't get as much coverage. Biden gets in. Now he's about to run again. Look at all this coverage he's still starting to get. And they're gonna put him in front. CNN gave him a forum. Like, I'm just telling you how this is going down, guys. Like, this is all these indictments. Oh, this is more free press. Like, I can almost guarantee somewhere in the back room, he's like, "Hey, y'all did it for OJ. Why don't y'all put the cameras in here and let me talk? I will get on the stand." I'm just saying. Listen, he is gonna go down in history books as like the master political marketer. He is years from now. They're gonna be studying. There's gonna be a class on Trump. There will be a class on Trump and how to navigate politically scandals without them hurting you. But I'm just saying, I know for us that don't like him, hate it, but we can keep, because before, if you look at it before, every time his attention drops, he just say something crazy. All right, I know you got to go. And let's close it out. He's going to as being the president that got beat up the hardest. Yeah, just can't deny it. All right, guys, we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Stay safe, make good choices, be blessed, and we're gonna talk about this more tomorrow. You know how we do. All right, make sure you share. My number's a little low this morning. Make sure you share. I know people on vacation. If you're on vacation, you could watch before you get up in the morning, or you can go to YouTube Music and listen to us live. All right, I'm on top of this thing. All right, so we see you tomorrow. Be safe. Make good choices. Know that we love you. Jesus loves you better. 988. You or someone you love is having a mental health crisis. Make sure you dial 988. And we will see you in the AM. Peace out.